Thank you so much for joining us today in the studio. Welcome. The first question I have is, before you just say anything, please introduce yourself and tell us what comes to your mind when you think of June 16.
Hello, my name is Refilo Matupa. Born and bred from First State in a very small town, Gugranung. June 16 for me, growing up, we grew up celebrating it like Sarafina and all of that. But up until to a point I understood what was June 16. So it's a bittersweet celebration. Yes, we are celebrating that the generation of that era sacrificed their lives for us to get a better education. And yet, there are still certain things that haven't been met.
Zine, did anyone at your school actually explain what June 16 is? Or did you have to find that by doing your own research?
Thank you for the question. My name is Zine Kumere, a student enrolled in Hillgrove Secondary. I wouldn't say a teacher explained what June 16 to me. I found out maybe posters, TV advertising a movie called Sarafina, whereby it is a summary of what happened in the June 16, whereby I know children were marching against Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. So it's basically my research and seeing things around the world, not that somebody or a teacher explained it to me.
Fees must fall, one would say, is the consequence of the Bantu Education Act. Do you think that something has changed within the school system, or have the faces changed?
Okay, let me put it like this. I feel that there are certain things that have been, have you seen a picture that it's blurry? Like something like that. They've been painted. They are not as it seems they are, because there's still loopholes. We were still talking, and we found out that even these kids, they don't even know who Hector Peterson is. They think Makuba is Hector Peterson, which is, in terms of education, are we teaching them our history, or are we still teaching them other people's history? Because they know Adolf Hitler instead of knowing their very own history, like our history. And again, the youth of today, I believe we're fighting a lot of things. It's drugs, it's unemployment, it's rape. I don't know whether should I say we have evolved, or we are slowly going back, or are we trying, or are we not trying?
You touched on unemployment, which is sitting at 46.1. The students of 1976 marched, but we haven't seen the difference. What can we do as the youth? Is this our problem?
Let's rather say, as much as there's a lot of them that went to school, yes, they tried. Others are unemployed, they're staying at home with degrees. You understand? So not having a job, it's not their problem. So it's not our problem. There's no job creation in our country. So maybe if we start doing our own small businesses, trying something, instead of sitting at home and doing nothing. And if we don't do that, if we don't have skills, I believe I was watching something some other day, and they were talking about we are very informed with theory, but we don't have skills. So if only we can have skills. We can be taught skills. I mean, if now in school they say no skill work, you know how to, like old people, they knew how to sew and all of that. Those are the little things that you can create money out of, can sell. So you can say, no, I'm a tailor, I can cut your jean for you, it's 20 rand. That 20 rand, it's a source of income, can bring bread to the table. So if we teach the next generation to stand up and create and use the skills that they can learn to make money, it would be better.
Zini, I see you nodding, so probably you are agreeing with what Refilwe is saying. What skills do you think our system, our educational system is teaching you right now that you feel if you were to leave school, I am ready to conquer the outside world?
What Ma'am Refilwe has just said is very effective. As the youth and the generation of today, we need to stand up for ourselves. We need to be independent. We need to create a future for ourselves. We must not depend on someone or something. We need to create, we need skills. We need to learn skills. At school, they teach us most theory. I wouldn't say skills, they usually teach theory. We learn theory, but yeah, we have computer skills. Yeah, in some schools they have CAT, which teaches learners computer skills, which you can open a business for yourself, whereby open a business or tutorials whereby you teach a younger generation how to use a computer, those basic skills that can give you a sort of income. If a parent want his or her child to be more in the computer, as our world is developing and it's being dominated by AI, so computers will be used more often. So a person with computer skills may help in this now generation. So our school provides that skills for us and for our staff to see that these skills, we can use it to teach the next generation. So that's what I could say for now.
We're speaking a lot about skills and the importance of basic skills. How can we bridge the gap? Because when you have skills, you are competing with other people who also have those skills and who could be more advanced than you. So how do we bridge that gap with a child from the rural areas and whose Wi-Fi might not be up to speed? And how do we bridge that gap with that child from La Lucia Crawford who has the skills, who has the means to make it happen? How do we ensure we bridge that gap right now?
I believe that's why we have organizations such as NYDA, Mzansi Youth Development. There are so many other organizations that can help. But I always say that the pie is big for all of us. If you and I are selling same clothes, I mean, there's Truett's, there's Pep, there's Edgar's. It depends on the kind of consumers or the clients that you want. You can still make it with the people that will go for you. And by doing that, it simply means you need to sell or market what you are bringing to the table. Because I cannot come from somewhere and advertise whatever the skill that you have. You need to sell your skill so that a relevant person will come to you. Because if it was meant for one person, I believe we'll only have Pick and Pay, not ShopRite, not Woolworths. You understand? So the cake, it's too big. You just need to cut your piece and work on it.
And some of the things that I have learned today is that the youth yearns to learn more skills skills that they are able to use and able to compete with in the outside world with other people who are advanced in these skills. Till next time, I am Andiso Gunene, your host. Goodbye.